Hello, hello. Hello, Eva. Hello, Leanne. Eva, I low-key want to see your face today if that's possible. Only if that's possible. Hello, Cindy. Welcome. Good to see you guys. Hello, Leanne. What a big quantum leap you did. No worries, Eva, if you can't talk. Yes, I get to see. I'm like, even if I get to see your forehead, that'd be so amazing. Ah, yes. So good to see you guys. It's so awesome that you guys are able to join live too. We have like kind of a core group that's able to make the live calls. So just want to honor you guys and just making that commitment, and just even if you have to rearrange your schedules to make that happen. And for anyone else catching this on the replay, amazing. So exciting that you're watching this on the replay, you know? Sometimes when it comes to these programs, like having that accountability, you can kind of start to be like, oh, I'm not gonna like watch this one, and then it just kind of, you lose that momentum, right? And that's where it's like all about, like when we were talking about like the fire energy, like stoking that fire, keeping that momentum, showing up, doing the work, doing the homework, showing up in the WhatsApp group, you know. You guys are really getting so much out of it, like the more like engaging and attention and energy and focus you guys are giving it. So honoring you guys, honoring all of you who watch this on the replay. Thank you for your energy, and just know that even if you are watching this again, like even if you guys watch this again, like this energy field that we create together, like it lasts and it will permeate through all space and time. So you guys will be able to feel this no matter when you watch this, or if you rewatch it. Like I really encourage you all to rewatch these videos. You know, I know, especially with my teachings, I pack a lot of information in there just because like I want to give you guys everything. So whenever you guys have a chance, you guys can come back and just rewatch these videos and get even more out of it. You might be able to, you know, deeper clickings and understandings might integrate on a deeper level if you come back and rewatch it. So, and we can't hear this stuff enough, you know. We're going up against however many years of programming, so we can't hear this stuff enough. So it's like constantly inundating ourselves with mindset work, mindset hacks, just this higher level of consciousness. You know, I know for myself, if I'm not teaching or if I'm not in shamanic school, I'm watching YouTube videos with people that I resonate with. I'm listening to audiobooks, constantly filling myself with information and this knowledge. And sometimes I listen to the same audiobook like 3 or 4 times, and I get a huge download after listening to it, you know, the 3rd or 4th time. Just because maybe I was more present and listening, or something was I was in a state to where I was actually able to really understand it at that time, you know? Yeah. So Cindy, I hope I get to see your face too. No, I mean, no pressure, but it's always nice seeing everyone's faces. And we'll just give it one more minute. Did anyone have any takeaways or anything they'd like to share from the last 2 weeks of class with myself, or just any breakthroughs? Yeah, Eva, unmute yourself. I can unmute you, or I think you're good. Or are you typing? Maybe Eva's typing. Okay, she's typing. Awesome. Yeah, and Cindy or Leanne, if there's anything you guys want to share, feel free to unmute yourself before we get started. I'll leave just a couple minutes. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so yeah, after the shadow work and everything, a lot has been coming up, which is awesome. And it's really interesting because it's all related to the things I'm manifesting. So I can like see like, oh, if I have any ounce of self-hate in me, why would I be a model? That can't like add up, you know?
Yes.
So it's all kind of coming out. And I
Mhm.
honestly, like today I found myself doing like old habits I used to do in high school, like looking at my reflection when I'm walking outside at my stomach. I'm like, what is this? This is
Mhm.
so old, but I know it's just like leaving me, which is awesome.
Yes. That's exactly
Yeah.
what's happening. Like you get it. Like Leanne, like that
Yeah.
like because and it's like the fact that like it all correlates together because you calling forward modeling, it's like of course those old programs that go along with that have to be purged. They just have to be felt. And it's when we get caught up in the loop of like, oh my god, it's like you could easily be like, oh my gosh, there I am, I was like doing that again, I was like looking at myself, why am I doing that, blah blah blah. You can be caught in that loop, or you could just be like, whoa, oh my gosh, I just caught myself doing that, whoa, I did that in high school, wow, it's just, I'm just doing that to leave my, it's just leaving me now
Mhm.
because I'm calling forward something else that's not in resonance with
Yep.
it. Wow. I love you, Leanne. I love myself. I'm so
Yeah.
proud of myself, right? Like when we're able to navigate life in this way, like you're like up leveling, up leveling, up leveling through this because you guys are really understanding like how to play with the universe energetically. It's so huge. Yes. And Eva, she wrote in the chat, you dyed a bunch of clothes, but they were all different colors and you were afraid to wash them together because colors would bleed. I just went ahead and washed them and obviously nothing bad happened. I was afraid for no reason. Oh wow. So you, so Eva is like, you're a total like artist and you create clothes and you dye clothes with like natural, beautiful, like florals. I love following you on your journey, Eva. So so I think you've been doing this for a long time. You've been like dyeing clothes but not washing them together for like a while, and then now you finally did and you're like, oh, nothing bad happened. So sometimes it's just like, hey, like let's just try it, let's do the thing that like we're scared to do, and then you see the other side of it as freedom, or probably something that's going to save you a lot of time and energy too, right? Wow. Yeah, amazing. All of our leaps look different, you know, and it's just being gentle on us during that and actually doing it. So it's amazing. Yeah, Eva, share your Instagram so you can follow your art. Awesome. Okay, guys. Hello, Lou. Welcome, Bianca. Welcome, guys. Yes. So I was saying, I'm like, we have like our consistent little class that's been showing up that's able to make the live calls. Thank you guys so much. Woo. And shout out to all the people who are tuning in after. So let's take a moment and we're going to ground in together. You guys, I don't think you guys are ready. I don't think you guys are ready. I don't think you guys are ready. This is a really, really, really big, big class. This is the money transmission. Okay? Focus. Like, we need to focus. Full presence coming online. All right, guys. So we'll take a moment. We're going to ground in together and just open this up. So just inviting you just to settle down into your space, a nice seated position, just allowing yourself just come to stillness right now. And let's take a slow inhale and together and through your nose, filling all the way to the top, and hold it at the very top. And a slow and controlled exhale out, slowly, slowly releasing the air, just all presence to your breath. And take another slow inhale and through your nose, slowly filling all the way up, and hold it at the very top. And a slow and controlled exhale out, slowly, slowly releasing the air. Feeling your body just become more at peace, your mind just quiet down. And let's bring all of our awareness to our hearts, where our spirit lives of unconditional love for one another and ourselves. And let's take a breath from our heart, breathing in through your nose, feeling your chest open, your heart open up and expand. And fall as it expands even more. And I just want you to see a beautiful, pure white light just pouring out of your heart space and just starts to fill up your body with gratitude for showing up, for compassion on yourself and whatever it is you are navigating. Gratitude for this body that carries us, that holds our spirit. Gratitude for everyone in this group container. Gratitude for yourself for showing up. And just imagining us just connecting this beautiful web of white lights all around the world, wrapping the planet in unconditional love and grace and compassion, as we are all doing our very best with just the programs that we have. Just taking this moment to honor yourself for becoming aware of patterns that do not serve you so that you can break them. Knowing that some of these stories, they might have been passed down through generations, through generations, through generations, from your parents, your grandparents, their grandparents. But it ends with you. It stops with you. And you get to rewrite the story right here, right now, to stories that empower you, to stories that support your heart, your soul's calling, your empowerment as you rise up and you shine your light here on this planet to be of service to our brothers and sisters here. Shining out your light in your authentic way to awaken our brothers and sisters all around this planet to remembering who they truly are as you remember who you truly are. An infinite being of light who is abundant. That is just who you are. Who is love. That is just who you are. Who is worthy. That is just who you are. Whole and healthy. That is just who you are. It's peeling off all of the limitations and limiting beliefs that make you question your natural state. But as we peel off these old stories, we can do it with compassion and love on ourselves and gentleness on ourselves. And with strength and power to call ourselves forward and the courage to do so. Honoring your courage, honoring your vulnerability, honoring yourself for going into the shadow. People live their whole lives just avoiding it, ignoring it, suppressing it. And you guys are so brave and courageous to go right into it and to feel it just so it can leave your body. You can heal yourself. Such huge, huge, huge work that we are all doing here, not for ourselves, but for the collective and our ancestry that will affect all the generations that come after us. This is so huge. Specifically working today with the energy of money, the energy of abundance. This energy carries a lot of stories, a lot of shadow, a lot of deep imprints of scarcity and fear and lack. And just telling yourself today that you are choosing to rewrite these stories. And it ends right here, right now, as you step into your abundance. You remember how abundant you truly are. Calling in the goddess Lakshmi, the goddess of abundance and beauty and wealth, to be present with us and work with us on this call. To come back and remember and step into this even more. Expanding back more into who we truly, truly are. Let's take a slow inhale in through your nose. And release. It's coming back with a beautiful big smile. And we are going to dive right in. Okay. Okay, so Welcome to the Abundance Transmission. And the mission is clear, everybody. The mission is total liberation. Okay. So today's flow, we're going to go over how money is neutral. We're going to go over your relationship with money, what money actually wants, and then we're going to help you integrate it, have some action steps and accountability moving forward. Warning. Get comfortable getting uncomfortable, especially with this topic. This is how you know it's dissolving inside of you. And the more that you are present on this call, present when you listen to this transmission, and you can be the observer of what's being activated within you and not judge it, but feel it and witness it and observe it. You're going to be being encouraged to do the most uncomfortable thing with intention of freeing yourself from it, right? Ideally doing this at the peak moment of a trigger. And the faster, when you do this, the faster and more graceful you'll be able to move through this. This is a rite of passage, you guys. This is just a program. This is just a deep imprint. This is a rite of passage for you to get past these money beliefs. Who is ready to do that? Yeah. So you need to do what you've been avoiding, ignoring, and resisting. So if you are uncomfortable, keep reminding yourself that this is actually a really good thing, that there's power to reclaim back from this. And of course, you can always share and reach out for support. We're here for you. So first, going into how money is neutral, okay? Money is actually this neutral energy, and it's just a matter of the weight that we give it and the meaning that we give it. So we're going to redefine money to abundance. So abundance is being able to do what you need to do when you need to do it. For example, if you're like, okay, I may not have all this money in the bank, but you really feel called to join this program, right? Some of you had to take that leap and trust that, okay, I'm feeling really called to do this, and trusting that the universe is going to give you what you need when you need to do it, right? We've been so programmed to be in like, oh, we need to save, but like saving is the same frequency of scarcity, you know? So I'm going to go into this more. I'm like already like going, okay, I need to stick to the slides or I'm just going to keep going. So we must collapse and dissolve the 3D matrix of money that we have all given our power to, okay? It's an energetic that money possesses and its ability to amplify who you are. So money truly just amplifies just who you are. Money is neutral. Money is just an energy, just like anything else, but it's what we're giving it. And what the cool frequency about money is that it just amplifies who you truly are. And who you are is love. Who you are is an instrument for the divine. So let's get past this and use it to amplify us. So you'll be even more loving and an even louder instrument for the divine when you're able to really, really work with this and get past it. And our job as light workers is to break past our money beliefs. And let's be the most abundant possible to circulate money out to those who aren't past their money beliefs, so we can help free others and lead by example. So this is a rite of passage, and that you are going to break through. And I just encourage you to keep doing the alchemy, keep reclaiming your power back. You know, call one, I equipped you with this tool of where, okay, you get activated, you feel discomfort, reclaiming your power back from that, right? I want you to be using that tool on your Lightworker tool belt throughout this whole entire program. And this is your initiation. So welcome. Welcome to your initiation when it comes to working past your money beliefs. So this is a journaling exercise, and this is something you guys can do when you have a little bit more time. But then too, this is something that I want you to get a little curious. This is actually really fast. This exercise right here is super, super fast. So I want you right now, maybe rather than writing this down, just go with the first answer that comes to your head. Okay. How much money do you want to make a month? First question that comes into your head. You should have an answer right now. How much do you want to make a money? How much money do you want to make a month? Okay. You have a number right now in your head. And now I ask you, how much money do you really want to make a month? Like, you're remembering you're a limitless infinite being, right? How much money do you actually like really want to make a month? Truly, truly, truly. And allowing that number to come forward to you. So now you have an idea, right? You have an idea of how much money, like, oh my gosh, like I'm an ominous being. I'd love to make this much money a month, right? You have this number in your head right now. So I ask you, why not make that amount now? Why? So the second figure that you came up with, right? Why not make that now? And I'm getting curious, just get curious. What are the stories that come up? This is full permission to get unconscious, to allow these old stories to come up, right? Let's say you're just like, oh, I'd love to make like 6,000 a month, right? Oh my gosh, but I'd really love to make like 100K a month. Oh my gosh, I can't even, can you imagine making $100,000 a month? So why not make that now? Oh my gosh, well, I'd have to work super, super hard. Or like, I don't even know how that would happen. Like, I'd have to work hard. I would get burnt out. I would lose my family and friends because I'd be super agitated all the time. I wouldn't have time for myself. Like, I don't even know how that's possible, right? Like, what is the root of how come you can't make that second number now? And just keep asking yourself, like, what would happen? Then what would happen, right? Just allowing these stories to come up and just get curious within yourself. Because you're getting to the root of these stories that might be keeping you back from your abundance. So remembering money is neutral, but you're getting clear on what your limiting belief is, right? These are just examples. I have to work hard. People would take advantage of me or use me. If I made $100,000 a month, oh my gosh, people would maybe use me for my money. Or, oh my gosh, I'd make it, but then I'd be so scared to lose it. Money comes and go. There's never enough. Oh my gosh, that's out of my reach. Oh my gosh, I could never. That's like way too high. It's easy for others, but not for me. Oh my gosh, it'd be so selfish for me to make 100,000 a month. That would be so selfish of me. How on earth could I charge that much for my services? Who am I to do that, right? Or I'm not smart enough to make that kind of money. And I can't do what I love and make that kind of money doing what I love. Like, that's not possible, right? Like, what are these stories that are coming up and playing in your mind? And then you can go back and do this alchemy process to reclaim your power back from it, right? Holding that tool in your tool belts. So money is neutral. It's just an energy. It's whatever it is that we're giving it. So what weight are you giving it? Are you making it super heavy? Like, are you just like, oh my gosh, having that much, like, money is just like, oh my gosh, I can't even think about it. It gives me anxiety, right? How am I going to pay this much rent? How am I going to do this? It comes from like a heavy energy, right? Or are you putting it on a pedestal where you're just like, oh my gosh, I could never get that. I could never make that much money, right? Like, do you see like the imbalance? And most of the time it's both. Most of the time we're making it super heavy, or we're putting it on a pedestal. So it's out of our reach. We're not making it neutral. So money is just a tool. It's just a skill, just like any other tool or skill. It's not better and not worse. And it's used when you need to show appreciation. Like, that's truly like what it is, right? So I want to go over a little bit of a big money breakthrough that I had. And I'm sharing this with the intention of hoping unlocking something within you, because so many of us kind of share a lot of the same imprints and stories. So for me, I had a phone call with this really, really incredible money coach. And she asked me, she's like, so she did a very similar thing. And I'm using this tool that got activated in me to share it and activate it within you. So she was like, how much money do you make a month? How much money do you want to make a month? And I was like, oh, I'd love to make like $10,000 a month. And then I was like, yeah, but like, you know what? I'm like, yeah, but like one day, like I want to be making $100,000 a month. I want to be so abundant, blah, blah. And she's like, wait, so do you want to make 10,000 a month, or do you want to make 100,000 a month? And I was like, you know what? I think I'd be fine with the 10,000. I think that'd be fine. And I'm like listening to myself going like, wait a minute, like, why am I talking myself out of this already? Because it's like, I was like already like, I was getting activated in the fear of like what that would actually feel like. And I felt like just in her frequency of like, whoa, if I worked with her, oh my God, like I could potentially make that much money, and like what would happen? And then I started playing into all of these stories. All of these stories got erupted inside of me, all came to the surface. And there was this one story that I didn't even know was there. And it was this story of like, oh my gosh, if I made that much money, people would take advantage of me. And I was like, well, why would I think that? Oh my gosh, I take advantage of people who have that kind of money. And I'm like, wait, no, that's not true, Christina. What is going on? I'm like, I take advantage of people who have a lot of money. And then I thought to myself, like in a networking event, right? Like, let's say that you're in a networking event and there's like a yoga teacher, or there's an architect, or there's a lawyer, or there's an adventure capitalist. I remember in my mind, I would almost put like the adventure capitalist, like the person who has money, who would invest in things, almost on this pedestal, like they were like out of my realm. And that if I were to even become friends with them, I would be, me being friends with them would be taking advantage of them or something. When I'm like, what? Like, that's so not true. So I was like it was able to dissect how, like, the fact that I was putting this on a pedestal, right? I was putting this adventure capitalist on a pedestal. I was putting money on this higher pedestal, which is why I felt like I was taking advantage of this person, because I didn't feel like it was an equal exchange. So if we take this person off of the pedestal, if we take money off of the pedestal, then we don't feel like we're taking advantage of anything. We neutralize it and we realize, whoa, so everyone has codes, right? The yoga teacher has a code, the architect has codes, the lawyer has codes. These are, like, when I say codes, specialties, right? They have this specialty, this special gift, this special talent, right? The adventure capitalist just cracked the money code, right? But maybe this adventure capitalist didn't crack the yoga code, and it needs to have some insight, which is why it's going to hire a yoga teacher, right? Maybe it's going to need to buy groceries from a farmer, and it doesn't know how to farm, right? What makes money this tool that's like, we're putting it, we make it like, oh, it's the tool of all tools, right? So let's take it off the pedestal and let's neutralize it. So for me, what really helped me is, you'll see here in the middle slide, I'm just putting together a whole bunch of offerings and tools and skills together, right? We need food, shelter, a healthy body, a car, a computer, family, knife, a guitar, money, yoga, hammer, comedy, breathwork, bed, a toothbrush, clothes, love, a photographer, DJ, a farmer, and a cell phone, right? Like, these are all just different tools and skill sets. And especially right now, what's going on in this planet, which would you say is more important right now? To have some cash, paper, money, or a plastic card with numbers on your computer screen? Or would you rather have a farmer producing actual food that you can eat? Like, this whole system is collapsing before our eyes, right here, right now. So it's this really great time to like receive this information, because we're seeing it. So we're able to like have it click down even more within us. So really quick, I just want to checking in before I move on. How are you guys? Are you guys resonating with this? Just checking in. If I can just get some snaps. Is this resonating with you guys? Is that shared? Like, are you guys like, did any of these stories kind of like come up within you? You can just give like a little like, awesome, cool. Just wanting to check in before I move on to the next portion, which is our relationship with money. So first and foremost, let's neutralize it, right guys? Like, let's just neutralize it. We make it this thing like, oh my gosh, well, I need money to do all of these things. Is that true? No. It's like, it's really like, would you rather have paper, a plastic card, putting it in a plastic box to receive paper money, or would you rather go to a tree and pluck a fruit from a tree and actually have food to feed your family at this point? Let's collapse this paradigm that we have been programmed in, giving all of this weight, all of this power to these numbers on a computer screen, to this paper that really is like meaningless at this point. It's like they say, like, it's not even back anymore, right? But we're giving it all this power. Okay.
But can I just say something?
Yeah.
So the thing is, money brings a sense of security, and again, it's like placing the sense of security onto something else than ourselves, and onto nature and stuff like that. But it gives a sense of security. So when it's not there, there's like this feeling, like, for example, my solar plexus contracts. It's like the relationship with money. That's what happens. It's solar plexus contracts, and because that in the base, and it's a lot to do with security, not the piece of paper. You know.
Totally. And so stay tuned. We're going into the relationship so we can heal all of it. Yeah, absolutely. Because the goal here, the mission isn't to get all this money. The mission is to free ourselves from the power that we're giving it. So let's go on and do that. Okay? Thank you for speaking that out, Lou. Awesome. Okay. Relationship with money. We're going to fall in love with money. Okay. So this is an exercise that I want you guys to do. I'm going to talk you guys through it. Okay. So I'm going to drop us in. Let's just take a moment. I want you to close your eyes. Let's take a deep inhale and release. And I want us to call forward the energy and the frequency of money. And I want this energy and this frequency to materialize in front of you like it's a person. It can be a person, it could be an image. And I want you now, with this personification of money in front of you, I want you to tell it how you feel, unconsciously. I want you to allow the unconscious feelings to come out. And I want you to tell money how you feel. I want you to tell it how it makes you feel, what it makes you do, and what comes up for you. Just unconsciously, just let this purge come out. How do you really feel about money? What is it doing to you? What is it activating inside of you? What does it mean to you? What does it mean to your family? What have you been carrying with you? Purge this out. Purge it out onto money and tell it how you feel. So holding the space for it, after you've said everything that you've wanted to say to it, I now want you, let's take a clearing breath in, release. Money is still in front of you. And I want you now to take the mask off of money. And I want you to remove this personification, this mask that you've given it. And I want you to see someone that you love so much. I want you to turn money into someone that you love so much. Just when you look at their face, you just instantly feel love. Let's make money into that person. And I would now want you to see what you've said to this person that you love. What did you say to this person? This person was there the whole entire time. It was just wearing a mask just for this exercise. What did you say to this person? Would they want to hang out with you? Would they want to come by your side? Would they want to be in your life? How would they feel? Are they probably going to say, oh, hey, I'm going to go hang out with Christina over there, who's real nice to me? Do they want to be around you? Not just be around you, but nourish you, but enjoy being around you and actually call you up to hang out. So just making note of this. And you're just getting curious right now. How have you been talking to money your whole life? How have you been talking to money recently? Would you want to hang out with you if you talk to yourself this way? Let's put yourself in your shoe. Let's make yourself money hearing what you just said to yourself. Would you actually want to hang out with you? Would you want to come to you? Would you want to come to you and hang out with you abundantly? And would you treat someone you love like this? So now in this space, I still want you to stay in this space, right? You're looking at someone that you love. What would you now say to money as someone that you love? Well, I think you'd first start off with an apology. We need to clear this slate. We need to clear this energy. So we need to apologize to money for what we just said to it. And I'm going to encourage you to, in your own time, write an apology letter to money. If we're starting fresh, if we're starting this new relationship with money, it's like, imagine if you've been talking to someone like that for a while and you just all of a sudden are like, okay, no, just kidding, money, just kidding. Like, I love you, come back in my life, right? No, like we need to take responsibility and we need to just say, oh my gosh, money, I'm so sorry for how I've been talking to you. I'm so sorry for what I've been projecting on you. You're neutral. I'm so sorry for what I've said to you. I'm so sorry that I've been ignoring you. I'm so sorry that I won't even look at you. I'm so sorry that I blame you. Right? Let's first enter forgiveness. Let's first enter apology, deep apology to this energy that is just neutral and that actually loves you very much and like wants to flow to you abundantly, that wants to enhance you. So I think we first start off with an apology. And then you can come to peace and see how you played this out so you can free yourself and free others, because you can also empathize with other people's money stories now. And then two, you're going to reclaim your power back from this. And you can see this like, wow, this is how I've been talking to money. I'm so sorry. Whew. Take a deep breath and just remember who you are. And I think it's time that we start courting money. So, okay, how we've been talking to it, how we've been treating it, it's one thing for us to apologize to it, but now we need to start courting it back into our life. So just imagine if you have a friend or a lover that you've been projecting all this stuff onto, and then you write an apology letter, right? And you can't just expect for them just to come flying back into your life. You want to keep courting them. You want to keep reaching out. You want to keep saying, you know what? I understand if you don't come to me for the rest of my life, I am dedicated to restoring my relationship with you and to showing to you that I have changed and that I love you. So can you write a love letter to money then? It's writing an apology letter and then writing a love letter. And I would encourage you to write a love letter every day, because we have a lot of making up to do. We have a lot of making up to do. So you can continue to do this alchemy process. And the alchemy process of reclaiming your power back is also just being in gratitude and appreciation for this lesson, because now you have more awareness around it. You can free yourself from it. You have awareness of how you've been talking to money this whole time. So now we can apologize and we can start this new relationship with it. So after you write an apology letter, after you write your love letter to it, let's write a gratitude letter and be in celebration to money and just be like, wow, like, because I mean, I know for myself, like if I was talked to you that way, I would need an apology. I would need to be courted, and I would need to be like, oh my gosh, you're amazing, like, and actually celebrate it. So going from apology to love and courting, to actually celebration and gratitude and praise and being like, whoa, look at all the things money does do, right? It's a beautiful currency that everyone can accept. It enhances who you are. It's a way to show appreciation around the world. It gives you a sense of freedom. Wow, thank you so much, money. So let's celebrate it. And let's just tell it how much you love it and how awesome it really is. Whew. Gonna check in again. How are you guys? Whew. Who's ready to start this new relationship with money, right? Are you guys ready? Are you guys excited? Let's love on money, okay? And we're just day one, so we have a lot of making up to do. You know, we can't just be like all of a sudden, oh my God, sorry, money. Like, okay, we're cool. Okay, come on, let's hang out, right? This is a relationship. So let's honor it. Let's give it the space and time it needs to come back and trust you. Let's gain its confidence back. Let's court it. Let's love it and let's praise it. And focus on all of the amazing things it does do. Okay. Going back in. So now that we're courting it, right? We're in the process of courting it. What does money actually want? Right? It'd be actually really cool to know, like, what does it want so that we can give it to it. So then it's going to want to hang out with us, right? Okay, super simple. Number one, money wants two things. This is number one. Money just wants to flow and know where it's going. I repeat, money just wants to flow and know where it's going. It's a currency. It's an energy. It wants to flow like water, and it wants to know where it's going, right? For what intention? And I want you to account for every cent. This is where we come back to abundance is being able to do what you need to do when you need to do it. If you're going to say, I want $1 million, right? Like that's what I used to say. I'm like, I'd love to manifest $1 million. I'd be like, Christina, what would you do with $1 million? Oh, I'd probably like put some in savings and like, I was like, I don't really even know exactly what I would do with it. Oh, well, do you think money's going to come flow to me? Has no idea where it's going to go. Right? But if I'm like, okay, I'm going to manifest $1 million, I'm going to buy property with it. And I'm going to hire an architect to help me build my home. I'm going to buy all the materials for this home. I'm going to build all of the decorations for my home. That includes the bed, that includes the couches, that includes this, that includes that, right? It's like, we've been so conditioned to like, oh my gosh, money, hold on to it, put it into a savings account, and just like keep it there, right? Just hold on to it, just like keep it in one place. And just like, it's there, it's our safety, it's our security. Meanwhile, like the whole bank system could completely collapse and we lose all these numbers in our account. But no, that's okay. It makes me feel super secure having paper in a storage box or having numbers on a computer screen. I feel so much better, right? This is false sense of security. So it's like, if you are calling in money, it doesn't just want to sit there. It wants to know where it's going. It wants to flow to that place. And you need to have an intention for every single cent. Even if it's like, okay, I want to have $10,000 set aside to my full yes fund. This is a fund that's dedicated to when inspiration hits, I have money set aside to where like I can make a decision right there, right? If it's like a program, if it's a trip, if it's just something that you see where you're like, oh my gosh, a full yes, that's what I need. But there's intention with that account, right? Or even if it's like, okay, I'm saving up for a property, right? The money, there's intention with this account. It's not just there for a false sense of safety and security. You have an intention of where you're going to be using this. So account for every single cent. And it's desiring to be used. It's desiring to flow. It doesn't want to just sit in an account without intention. It's like, I look at it as this dead, numb energy, right? And two, I talked to one of my friends who sold his company for $100 million. And I'm like, oh, okay, I need to pick your brain. I'm like, I want to tell me about the frequency about you all of a sudden seeing $100 million in your account. Like, what was that like? Talk me into that frequency, right? And he was like, yeah, you know, like it was really freeing. Like I felt like this sense of freedom. And then he was like, and then it was actually followed by this anxiety and this stress. Because think about it, there's all of this energy in one account and it's just sitting there, right? Because you're feeling this frequency. Money wants to flow. It doesn't just want to sit there without intention, right? So he was feeling this anxiety of like, okay, well, I need to invest it. Well, who do I invest it with? Where should I put it? Where like it doesn't just want to sit there. So he was like, it was actually really stressful to have that much money in his account because he didn't have intention for every single dollar for it to flow to. So just thinking about that, right? We think like we want $1 million, but then you got it. And then like, what are you going to do with it? So we need to have intention. It needs to know where it's going to go. So you're going to do a journaling exercise where you are going to account for every single cent of what it is that you want to call in. So however much you want to call in, right? It could be the first number that you said, this is how much money you want to make a month, right? Well, this is where budgets come in, right? Like we think budgets, like I know for me, I was like, oh my gosh, budgets, ew, gross. Like, oh my God, boring. No, avoid it, right? No, okay, let's think about it though. Like let's like erase the word budget, right? Because I mean, for me, like that took a lot of programming with it. Let's just allot for where money needs to flow, right? It could be your rent, it could be your cell phone, it could be your internet, it could be your food in your fridge, it could be just like all the things that you need. You know what I mean? And it can even be like entertainment, it could be courses, like education. I know for myself, I'm always investing in my education. But so I'm like setting aside money for that. So I'm allotting how much money I need for all the things that I want to do, let's say in 1 month, right? My monthly expenses that I want to invest in, right? Food, shelter, experiences with friends, education, right? All of these things. But getting clear on how much that is down to the cent, right? Accounting for every cent. So the money has having more of an intention of where it's going. And just like tapping into the feeling state. This is like where power of manifestation comes in. How is it going to make you feel going there? Like, oh my gosh, wow, like I'll feel so free. I'll feel so excited that I can I can invest in myself and that I can pay my rent, not worry about it. And that I can go and I can buy healthy organic food, or I can go to like the farmer's market, or I can like just get excited, get into that feeling state of it, right? And lastly, super, super important, creating a container for money to land. So this can even be for myself, what I do. And I wanted to include this in this transmission, but it's so much information to where this is something that I share with my clients in my group containers, where I have more time and space to really hold them through this process of really how to create containers for money, right? But essentially, it's like you can use even just an Excel spreadsheet where you just title, you know, just different categories, and you can energetically have an idea of how much money you brought in that month and like allot it for each thing. So it's like you're putting it into safe containers. Money, it has a place to go. It has a place to land. It has a nice home, right? Don't we want to make a safe home for money to come flow to? Wouldn't that be helping gaining its trust back? Wouldn't you feel more invited if like someone was courting you and you're like, and they're like, oh my gosh, I built you a house. And it's not just any house, but it's like a house just for you. You'd be like, oh wow, they're like apologizing a lot to me. They're writing me love letters every single day. Now they built me this like house for me to come like stay in whenever I want. All right, like they're like really putting a lot of love and energy into gaining my love back. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna come hang out with you. I'd love to like come hang out and check out this container. I'd love to come flow your way because I have a place to go. So creating containers for money to land intentionally. And number 2, what money wants. Money just wants your presence. So let's look at it. Let's acknowledge it. Spend time looking at your bank accounts with neutrality, without judgments. Just, you can observe what's coming up within you. But I would encourage you to make this a ritual. Log into your bank accounts and just look at the numbers without judgment. At first, you might get some energetic charge. You might feel some judgment, but just observe it and know it's leaving your body. And then just come back to a place of gratitude where you can actually look and be like, wow, like, look at what I do have. Pray over your accounts. Bless your bank accounts. Visualize the money just coming in. Visualize it flowing into your heart. You can do these rituals with money where if you have money in your wallet, organizing it. And this is where I have this beautiful picture of Lakshmi, the goddess of goddess of abundance. Can you guys imagine if this goddess was up in your place, was in the same room as you, and you were just like, don't want to look at you. I am not going to look at you. I'm going to continue avoiding you for the rest of my life because you make me feel bad and you XYZ and blah, blah, blah. And she's just here pouring money out, just like love, abundance, beauty. She's just in the same room as you, radiating love and beauty and freedom and abundance. And you're over here going like, nah, not even gonna, I'm gonna act like you don't even exist. I'm not even gonna look at you. Do you think she's gonna wanna hang out with you? Right? Or can we like actually work with this? If you resonate with this and you want to work with a goddess like this, you can even print out a picture of her. You can put her on your altar. I know for myself, I brought this. This is a paper airplane that I just folded. I have a $20 bill. Ideally would like it to be a $100 bill, but I'm in Costa Rica and I didn't have access to that. So for me, this has been on my altar for a very long time. But I had this visual one day of just all of these like paper airplanes of money just flying to my heart, right? So in order for me to remember that, I folded this into a paper airplane and I put it on my altar. And I sometimes just play with it. I'm just like, oh, money, I love you so much. I love you. Thank you so much for all that you do. Thank you for flowing to me in my life. I love you. And I just put it back down. That's it. Like that probably took what, like 15 seconds of me just acknowledging it, looking at it. And then maybe I'll go into this in just a little bit, but just taking some moments out of your week where you just like are present with your money, present with your bank account, and you're just give it your presence, right? And I'll go over more in depth of how to do that. So let's just love on it. Let's give it our attention, our devotion, and our love, not to get something from it. Let's do it for the pure joy of it. Okay? And again, you're talking about it, you bring presence to it, you're looking at it, and the more that you do this, you're lessening the activation, you're lessening that energetic charge around it, you're lessening that trigger around it. Every time you pop open your bank account with love, every time you write money love, you're lessening this energetic charge of what you might have had around it. And I am encouraging you to put in your calendar a money date. Have a date with money once a week. This is in my calendar every single week. Every week, I'm like, okay, I have a money date. And for me, like I've made it into this beautiful Excel sheet, which like I made pink and I have like money mantras on it. I have like a picture of Lakshmi on it. And it just takes me like 5 minutes, like not even 5 minutes is just going over what I was just saying. So having accountability, put this on your calendar once a week, right? You can create a money mantra song. You can create something like that activates fun and love for it. And you can log into your bank accounts. This literally takes me just 5 minutes now. You log into your bank accounts. And on this Excel spreadsheet that I have, it's like, I will allot for any money that's came in that week and just have so much gratitude for it. And this is where you can have an idea of what's coming in. You're having an idea of if anyone owes you money or if you owe anyone money. And if you have anything coming up that you're maybe saving intentionally for, right? And it's like, you feel free, you can reword these things into words that resonate with you, that you don't have any resistance around. And for me, like, I made this Excel, it's like pink, it has hearts all over it. Like, I made this into this, like, oh, I just love you money. Like, to me, I'm like, I'm having a date with Lakshmi, and I'm honoring her, and I'm loving her, and I'm in gratitude for her, okay? And again, every time you do this, you are lessening the charge around money, your bank accounts, and making payments, right? So many times these activations come up when we have to pay something, when we have to actually use the money for what it is that we need it for, right? And it's every time bringing so much consciousness and awareness to every time you actually spend money on something, where this is where being present and slowing down, one of the cheat codes from week 1, really comes into play, to where you just take this moment before you hand over your card to the register for your groceries, before you take the money out, just taking that moment of just like saying, thank you, money. Thank you for being this energetic exchange of appreciation that I can give to someone for growing my food, or that I can give to someone for creating this thing that I'm going to adorn that makes me feel amazing, right? Or I'm going to give, that's a bill for my power in my house, that I can have Wi-Fi, that I have electricity, that I don't have to be making a fire outside. Thank you so much. Let's bring more consciousness to money. Let's bring more love to it, more presence and gratitude. So I'm going to check in again, because I like checking in on you guys. When I do those slides, I can't really see everyone's faces. How do you guys feel? Are you guys ready to just have this new beautiful relationship with it? And you have more ways of how you can free yourself from it? Who's like excited about like this new relationship with money? Yeah, amazing. I will be flying this all the way to you guys, wherever you are. May abundance just rain down upon you. And that's the thing, is that truly, like, you can imagine yourself as having this, like, this floodgate over your head of just infinite of these things raining down upon you, right? And we are the only thing cutting it off. We're the only thing stopping it. And we're saying, oh, no, it can only come through my job here. Okay, I'll let a little bit in right here. Okay, it can only come through if I work really hard and I sell these one things this way. Okay, I'll let a little through this way. It's like, or let's just completely unclog the drain. Let's remember that we are infinitely abundant. We're the only ones cutting ourselves from the source. And let's just open ourselves up to receive. Just to receive. Universe, I don't care how you flow this to me. Lakshmi, I don't care how it comes to me. And it could come in the form of, oh, you have free rent this month, right? It doesn't have to flow in the way of numbers in your account. It could be like, I'm going to take you out to lunch. Someone taking you out to lunch. Wow, right? This is where we need to rechange our thinking to abundance. Being able to do what you need to do when you need to do it. Does it matter if I get $1 million for this property that I want, or if someone just gifted me a piece of land? What does it matter? It's the same thing, right? So let's lessening the attachment of how it is we receive these things and just freeing it up, right? So it's a mix of both of these things, awareness around all of it. Okay. So this is huge, guys. This is huge. I need you guys all to really, really understand this, okay? We think that busting loose from the money game looks like this. Oh my gosh, all this money is flowing in. Like all of this cash, I get all of these like paper just everywhere. Oh my gosh, I get like $1 million in my bank account and all this stuff flowing in. Oh my gosh, I'm like swimming in money. All of a sudden, I'm gonna break past all my limitations around money, and all of a sudden, all this money is gonna come to me, right? No. What busting loose from the money game really, really looks like, really need you guys to understand this, okay? It looks like you reclaiming your power back from the entire paradigm around money. Letting that whole entire matrix actually crumble. And you are sitting in it, and you become the master of your reality, and you realize, oh wow, it actually doesn't matter if I have all these numbers on my computer screen, or if I actually get food delivered to me in this way, or if this comes to me in my life, right? For me, I may not have $1 million in my account yet, but do I live like a millionaire? Yes, I truly feel that. I truly, truly believe that. So you will know that you've busted loose from the money game when you can play in it. We can play in the money game because we're here on this planet. We're here to play this game, right? But there's no longer that energetic charge around money because you've done your shadow work and you've reclaimed your power back. And then you can just be like Neo and just be like, oh, I'm here. I can play money and I'm not triggered. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. Oh, I just need to call in some money for this. Okay, I'm just going to call it, right? And busting loose from the money game, it looks like your freedom. Freedom from the entire matrix of money. Freeing yourself from it. I have some birds back here who are like probably just super, super excited that we're all busting loose from our money game right now. So freedom, that is the mission. Liberation. Okay? So, do you want money or do you want to be free and live in abundance? Getting curious around that. And this is a new level of freedom, sovereignty, and trust in the universe. This is the new earth. And again, abundance is being able to do what you need when you need to do it. And I love this image. This is the past where it was fear, scarcity, lack, right? And we're here to paint a new earth together. And that new earth, it doesn't come from scarcity or lack or all of these stories that we have around how much money we need in the bank, how it is that we need to save, and like what it actually looks like to have a false sense of security. We are painting a new earth. And a new earth is us remembering that, oh wow, I am actually already free. Coming into our sovereignty, freeing ourselves, trusting the universe, remembering that we are so loved and so supported. All we have to do is ask for what it is that we want, know that we are worthy of it, do the shadow work around it to free ourselves from any limitations from the things that we're asking, stepping into our sovereignty, our abundance, just who we naturally are. Lakshmi's our best friend. She's my girlfriend. I love her, right? Is she your lover? Is money your lover? Like whatever it is you want it to make it. And remembering that abundance, like this is abundance. Do I want money or do I want to live where there's beautiful fruit growing abundantly here, fresh water, fresh air, right? These are things that money cannot buy. Switching and freeing ourselves from it and really, really realizing what is abundance. Being able to do what you need to do when you need to do it and trusting the universe is going to provide. So we have some homework. We have some integration and action and accountability to really ground this in. You can go back and you do these journaling exercises. Neutralize money. Heal your relationship with it. Write your apology letter to it. And then write it a gratitude letter. A love letter. I encourage you to create an abundance altar. And if you've never made an altar, and maybe I don't know if that's woo-woo for you or not, but an altar is just a place where you can just go, maybe you meditate, or maybe you just say a prayer. And it could just be just some of your favorite items that have meaning to you, items that represent things to you. So for myself, I have this on my altar. I have some beautiful crystals. I have some essential oils. I have some feathers. I have gifts from people. I write names of people who I am holding in my heart, and I put them on my altar. But this is just something that you can do. So creating an abundance altar. An altar is just, it's another physical form of a ceremony. It's bringing presence and intention to something. So if you are giving so much energy and so much focus and so much attention to money, well, where energy goes, attention flows. This is how you manifest your reality. This is how you create. So what if you what if for like the next week, you wrote it your letter, and every day you promised to write it a love letter. And every day you were just like, you maybe had a dollar bill and you're just like, oh, thank you so much. I love you. I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for flowing to me unconditionally, even though all the things that I've said to you. Thank you so much. Right? And then getting clear. This is the homework that I was resisting a lot of the time, but this is the homework that freed myself, okay? So this is the big piece of homework. This is the stuff I personally was resisting. It's actually getting clear on how much money I needed and where it's going, AKA matrix word, the budget, right? We can reformat that word, but essentially that's what it is, right? I sat down, I looked at my bank accounts, I saw where money was flowing. I got clear on how much I actually needed. And when you actually find out how much money you actually need, it's actually very freeing for you to be like, whoa, okay, like I actually just need this much a month. Okay, cool. So universe, like this is how much money I want. Thank you so much for this much a month. Thank you so much for that and so much more, right? You have clarity around it and it knows where it's going, okay? So creating a path, a direction, an intention, and a safe place for it to flow to. And having your money date once a week. These, like, if you guys truly want to free yourself from money, here you go. And I share these with a lot of my clients. I share this process and I go a little bit more in depth with it too, with the people that I work with in my group coaching containers and one-on-one. And yeah, it's actually really surprising when I gave this teaching and months later, I'm like, hey, did you do the money transmission homework? And they're like, no. And I'm like, oh, you're still having issues with some money. Okay, have you done? No, they haven't done it. And I was on them about it. I'm like, hey, have you done it yet? Have you done the homework? Because there can be so much resistance that comes up around this, which is okay. You can have awareness to it. You can be gentle on yourself. It's not like you get in trouble, right? But it's just like, oh, let's just bring awareness. Like there's some resistance there. There's resistance around actually sitting down and looking at my accounts and pulling it up and doing a spreadsheet and getting clear on what it is. But I can tell you for myself, that was the one thing I was resisting because I have stories around like budgets and money and accounting and all that kind of stuff. I'm not good at it. I don't like it. It's boring, right? I have all these stories around it. But I literally did a ceremony around it. I lit a candle, right? I brought in some crystals and I pulled up my bank accounts. And I made an Excel sheet and I was very present and I was the observer as I was doing this. And then I started tuning in to where I was able to zero point what I was actually really frustrated about, why I didn't like doing it. And in that moment, I got more clarity around it and it freed me from it. So being present as you're doing this, allowing whatever's coming up, allowing it just to leave your body and doing the thing you're resisting, doing the uncomfortable thing. So I don't know what that looks like for you. You can share. But for myself, doing the uncomfortable thing was like, oh my gosh, pulling up the bank account and doing all the budget stuff, right? Now I've completely neutralized that charge to where I do this once a week now. I pull up my bank account and I rearrange the money and I make it this fun, exciting thing where I'm like, oh yay, I love you money, right? Because I've lessened the energetic charge around it. But let me tell you, when I first started doing it, it was like, oh my God. All right, present with it. Okay, I'm gonna make an Excel sheet. Oh gosh, gross. Yeah, you know what I mean? But like now I'm just like, ooh, I love my Excel sheet. It's pink and it has hearts on it, and I've made it really beautiful, and it's something that I enjoy doing. Even if no money comes in that week, it's all good. It's all good. I'm giving a presence. I'm giving this goddess. To me, this is what I'm doing. I'm acknowledging the most beautiful goddess, Lakshmi. I'm acknowledging her in my life, and to me, she deserves to be acknowledged. And she deserves to be loved. And that's very much how I do it. So I take her on a date once a week. So I'd say this is your homework. And as you're doing this homework, like I said, I want you to be present and I want you to feel what's coming up within you. You can be intentional and be in ceremony, be aware of what's coming up and be the observer of unconditional love. Release control and attachment and expectations over how you're going to receive abundance. Open yourself up to receive however the universe wants to give it to you. Acknowledge your abundance, right? Cheat code reap one, acknowledge your manifestations. Half the time we're in our manifestations, we're not even acknowledging it. What if we acknowledged everything? I mean, we're technically manifesting everything, but let's acknowledge the abundance that we have. And let's be so grateful for what we have. And lastly, of course, if you want to receive abundantly, give abundantly. And if you want to get past your money beliefs, half people are like, oh my gosh, I have like all these money misbeliefs, blah, blah, but I want to do this program. How do I get past these money beliefs? I'm like, oh, you investing in this program is you actually reprogramming your money beliefs. If you want to get past your money beliefs, you have to do the thing that scares you. You have to do the thing that you're resisting. So if you have things about holding on to money, how can you lessen that charge? How can you free yourself from it? I had a client who, after this transmission, it was a meditation, and she got the download of, I need to go to the bank and take out $100 and I need to give it to people just to free myself from it. Like, she got this download where she was like, what? I have to do this? So she literally went to a bank, got out $100 worth of $20 bills. And she said that the first people that she saw, she just gave them $20. And she goes, here you go. And they're like, what are you doing? And she was like, she was doing it with the intention of freeing herself from it. So she was like, here you go, like, bless you. This really actually has nothing to do with you. This just has to do with how I'm freeing myself from money, from me holding on to it, right? Like, she like totally up-leveled after that because she released that charge and she was reprogramming herself in physical reality by doing that. That's just an example. I'm not saying you have to go do that, but that was her thing, right? The universe now, warning, warning, is going to give you opportunities to practice this. Because you just received the money transmission. Sorry, not sorry. I love you. We're in this game of up-leveling. We're in this game of freeing ourselves. Whew. So can you give abundantly? Even if it's compliments, even if it's love, let's just give. Be of service. Do the shadow work, because it's going to come up. Apply the alchemy process of reclaiming your power back. Do the uncomfortable thing just to reprogram yourself from it. And of course, reach out for support. This is why you're in this container. So you have support and accountability as you are on this journey. You're not in this alone. And we're so much more powerful when we do this work together. You got this. You got this. That's like really what you look like. That's truly what you look like. When money just wants to flow into you, this is what we really look like energetically when we have freed ourselves from limitations and we are not blocking the flow. Can we just like free ourselves and just allow all of this just to stream into us? Whew. Hello, my loves. How are you guys? I want to open this up to some questions, integration, shares, any breakthroughs. Here for you. Okay, beautiful. Lou, I see that you wrote some stuff. Yeah, you don't have a number, just enough, right? It's like, we're not here to just like live by just enough, right? You're here to thrive, my love. You're here just to live abundantly. And so getting clear on how much money you actually need is very freeing. And how you find that out is actually looking at your past accounts, seeing where you're spending money, seeing where money is flowing to, right? And you can go back to certain dates. I think they say like July and August, or like November, December. Those are higher months where we typically spend. I think I read that somewhere. So you guys can even just go back in old bank accounts, pull up like December of last year and just have an idea of like, or I don't know, you guys are all different, but like tune into like, where was a month where I spent a lot of money, and maybe going off that month. And you have an idea of how much money you actually need a month. And then you can say, okay, universe, I need this and more. Because I'm not here just to get by. I'm here to thrive and live abundantly. And when I said creating containers for money to flow to for myself, what these containers look like is my Excel sheets. Is I title them. And I'm energetically putting the money and allotting for it. Like, for example, taxes, right? You get so much money in, and then I immediately we'll record that number, and then I'll put like 15% aside for taxes. So energetically, I am aware of where this money goes. If you work with me in one of my containers, I go over this process called Profit First, which is a lot more detailed and a lot more in depth, which I don't have the time to share that process with you here. But essentially too, you can actually go to a bank and actually create these accounts to where it's all automated, right? And you can also do it energetically. But what you're doing energetically is that you are just bringing more awareness and intention to where money is going. Does anyone have any questions, any realizations, any shares, or anything coming up for them? Yes. Feel free to unmute.
I'm just like, it's like a scarcity, like, okay, I'm going to make this much money. What if I don't make that next month? Then what? Then how am I going to sustain my lifestyle? Like, that keeps coming up for me.
So I'd say allowing yourself to purge out that story, right? Last week, didn't we talked about like, okay, what's the worst case scenario? Let's allow ourselves to play that out. Just so then you can go down it, free yourself from it, allow it to leave your body, right? And it's just a conscious choice to come back into your alignment and remember, what are you choosing to focus on? Pulling all the tools from Juan's mindset class. It's all a choice on what it is that you want to focus on. But two, we have these thoughts. So let's give it space and presence for you to allow yourself to feel that fear of not getting it. It's okay. They just want to come up and be felt. So let's create a safe place for us to be like, okay, I'm going in this meditation right now with the intention of allowing myself to play out what it would look like if I didn't get that month. Okay, if I don't get it this month, this is what's going to happen. And then this is what's going to happen. And then this happens, and then this happens, and this happens, right? Allow yourself to feel it. Go down that rabbit hole. Free yourself from it. Feel all the feelings of that. Come back to your alignment. That's where these mantras come in as your anchors to support you, right? And you may have a month where that happens. And then you're going to be able to see, oh my gosh, I'm alive after. I'm actually okay. I just lived my biggest fear and I'm free of it actually. So we can choose to be in the story of like, oh my gosh, I just lived my biggest fear. This is my life forever. This is going to be forever. Or you can be like, oh, I just lived a month where the money didn't come in and I'm still okay. Whoa, okay. I'm okay. I can actually free myself from it. And I can come back into my alignment. Thank you, universe. I just lived out my worst fear just so I can free myself from it. I'm going to come back into my alignment and I'm going to keep trusting. Put in action steps. Getting intention of where you want the money to go. And this is where it's like, Juan's like setting you guys up for so much success with like, okay, break it down. How are you going to do it? Right? It's like, we can't just sit here and just be like, oh my gosh, like money, like blah, blah, blah. And unless you've done so much shadow work where you don't have limitations around it, you don't have limiting beliefs around it, right? Where it's like literally, like I've done a lot of shadow work around it where one day I did this like recently where like literally one day I was like, I'm just going to like really just meditate on money today just for fun. Just so I was just like feeling a frequency of money. And I was just like, I'm going to call money in today just for fun. Right. And out of nowhere, my brother Venmos me $100. Because me and my brother and I are so connected. So he probably just picked up that frequency and was just like, oh, Christina's calling you money. And it was out of nowhere. But I was like, whoa, thanks, universe. Like, because I've done a lot of shadow work around it to where I wasn't expecting it. I was just like doing it for fun. But I was giving the energy of money presence that day. I was just like, oh, money, I love you. Like, oh, it'd be so fun just to receive you for no reason. Right. I was just like in that energy because I've done a lot of that work to where I don't have that like that energetic charge around it. Right. So it's keep doing these processes that we're equipping you with to free yourself from it, free yourself from it, free yourself from it. And sometimes it will take you maybe having a month where you don't receive it just so you can free yourself from it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anyone else? Hey, Cindy.
So for me, what I'm struggling with, I think it's kind of like where I want the money to go, because I plan on moving in a couple months, and so getting a new apartment, getting a car. So like even this morning I was doing like researches on like apartments that I want and cars that I want. But it was, I guess it was like that I can afford. So I don't know, like for me, it's just like, I don't know what to do.
Okay, we're gonna reframe everything that you just said. One, you're not struggling, you're challenged. This is something new and you're learning. You're getting more clarity on what it is that you want, okay? And you do know what you want. You want an apartment, you want a car, right?
Yeah.
So get an idea of how much those things cost. Get an average number and write it down. You're already jumping to the how. This is what messes everything up. If you guys want to mess up manifestation, think about the how. If you guys want to not manifest, think about the how. So the moment you jump ahead to how, you're already messing up the universe. You're limiting the universe. You're putting a box on the infinite intelligence of like the infinite ways it can bring you something with the how, with our limited human brains of what's humanly possible and my limited mindset with my programs and all of my stories, right? Or you could just be like, I want an apartment, I want a car, and I want to pay. And you know what? I think like $1,000, like, and this is where it's like trust your intuition, go into meditation. It's like you're going to get numbers that come forward within you. Okay, $1,000 for rent and $350 for a car rental or something a month, right? Okay, cool. Write it down. Don't think about the how. You're not even there. You're messing up the universe. Okay, you have an idea. Okay, this is just like write it all down. Just write it all down. You're already limiting yourself with the how. We're not even there yet. Your saboteur is giving you so much resistance to where you can't even write it down. So you can say, I see you, saboteur. Not today. I'm going to allow myself to write down anything and everything because I am abundant and I'm worthy of that. And through that, you're going to get more clarity on what it is you want to call in. So it's coming back to the present moment.
Mm-hmm.
Our job is not to figure out the how, because you have no idea what's going to happen, Cindy. Someone can be like, oh my gosh, here, like I actually need someone to watch my house. Can I actually pay you to watch my animals in my house? You'd be really helping me out. Oh my gosh, I'm traveling. I actually like really need someone to like rent my car, and that would really help me out, and I'm going to give it to you for like half the price. You can write those things down. Like I don't just manifest what I want, but I manifest how I want things to happen. I don't limit it, right? And to where you can say like, universe, like I want an apartment that looks like this, that feels like this. I literally played this game for the first time I was traveling, just to expand you guys a little bit. I was like, okay, Bali started calling me after I left my marriage. I left my business. All of a sudden, Bali was like, come to Bali. And I'm like, where'd you come from? Where is this thought coming from? And I'm like, okay, universe, if you want me to go to Bali, I want a free place to stay and I want extra miracles on top. Within 2 weeks, I found this place online that was like, oh, I need you to come to Bali and watch my 4 corgis. Meanwhile, I have a corgi. They're my favorite animal ever. And I was like, I gotta live in this epic villa and watch my favorite spirit animal ×4 for free. Okay, universe, I guess I'm supposed to go to Bali, right? And then after that, I started playing a game when I got to Bali where I was like, okay, I want more free places to stay. So I was like, okay, I want another free place to stay. This time I want it to be in Ubud, I want it to be in the jungle, and I want to have an infinity pool, right? Kind of came right in. Like, and then I was like, whoa, I've freed myself from the limitation of free places to stay. So I've manifested a lot of free places to stay because I know it's possible. This is where you play with your subconscious mind. I have now, within my subconscious mind, I know it's possible to stay at really beautiful places for free. So I don't really have too many limitations around that. And then this year, I entered the phase to where I still asked, I was like, I came to Costa Rica and I was like, okay, I want a free place to stay. I got it. I got a free place to stay the first month. And then the universe is like, okay, Christina, you're going to up-level your money game. You're not playing the game anymore of manifesting free places. You know you can do that. Now we're going to play harder on the money game of manifesting more money so you can pay for really awesome places, which is an honor for me to pay places that expand me, that give me shelter, that inspire me, that enrich me. So now I'm playing that game, right? So it's like, what game are you playing, right? But I did play the game for a little bit just to prove to myself, whoa, I can actually manifest a lot of free places to stay. And not just free places, but like, so then I started saying like, okay, universe, I don't want just it to be free. I want every place to stay to be even more epic than the next. And it totally happened, where I'm just like, I stopped putting containers and limitations on the universe. I'm like, universe, blow my mind. I want it to be even better the next time. Where I'm like, okay, this is my new baseline normal. Like when I get into a situation where I'm like in a manifestation where I'm like, oh my God, I manifested this. Oh my gosh, my mind is being blown. Oh my God, it's like sensory overload of like, I'm in one of the most epic manifestations of my life. I will allow myself to feel that because that's super fun. But then I'll also go, this is normal. This is normal. This is my new normal. This is normal. This is normal. I'm like, Christina, normalize this frequency, right? Because do you see what I did? I was putting it on a pedestal. When we put things on this pedestal to where instantly, like I was like staying at like these multi-billion dollar villas in Bali to where I'd walk around and be like, normalize this. Okay, this is normal. This is normal. I always stay at places like this. This is where I go in the morning. I have my coffee over here. And yeah, this is normal. I always stay in places like this. I always stay in a place that has an infinity pool that overlooks the ocean. This is normal for me, right? And because I take it off the pedestal and I normalize it. I'm like, this is my baseline normal. Thank you, universe. I'll like, let's do even better next time. I know that you're up for the challenge. Blow my mind next time. Blow my mind even more next time, right? These are fun things that we can play. Awesome, you guys. So we'll open it up for any last questions or even
something that came up. So with money, I have this guilt of receiving. So I give everything, but I have this guilt of receiving because it's connected to dependence. So every time that someone wanted to give me a drink or something like this, I never wanted to use someone, let's say, and I wanted to make sure that no, I'm independent, I can have my own drink, or I can have this, or I can have that, whatever example it is. And with that comes validity of like, no, I'm independent, so I'm valid, you know. And there's like no judgment of like, oh, you are dependent. So there's this whole guilt trip coming in of being independent, not being independent, and being judged.
Yeah. So let's just like give that present. And I thank you for voicing that out. And let's thank this story to come forward. Because I'm so many other people can resonate with that, right? I even shared in my story, I had a thing where I was like, oh my God, I'm using people for their money, or right? So it's like there's so many ways that we can go about this. And one I will say right off the bat is, imagine if you were just trying to give a gift to someone that you love. Like it's like their birthday or something, you thought it's like you saw something and you were like, oh my gosh, like I this is for them, I need to give this to them. And you give it to them, they're like, oh no, I can't receive this. No, I can't receive this. You'd be like, oh no, but like I got this for you, like I thought of you and I got this for you. They're like, no, I can't receive it. Like I'm independent, I'm good, no thank you. Like you'd be like, okay, but like I got this for you, like I thought about you and I got it for you. They're like, no, I'm okay, thank you. It takes away from the giver.
Yeah, it does.
Like it's like kind of like, you know what I mean? It totally takes the fun out of it. You'd be like, okay, I don't really want to give you anything ever again because you can't even receive this, right? So let's tie this to money in the universe, right? If we aren't able to receive, do you think money wants to come flow to you? So let's come back and we can like, let's like deactivate the story of the codependency, right? And this is where it's like, rather than merging them together, this is where it's like we create stories. When we create stories, we merge all a bunch of stories together when they're not, they're separate, right? It's separate than you maybe thinking that you have some codependency or that you are really wanting to be like, I'm independent, right? And then there's another energy of just being like receiving, right? They're completely different, but you're tying them together, which is fine because like we all do this, but you're bringing more awareness to it. So it can be like coming to yourself being like, I am sovereign and independent and free, and I receive. I don't want to take away from the giver, and I'm so worthy of it, and thank you. So it's just practicing. So I would say for you to integrate this more, you're probably going to receive opportunities to receive. We're going to receive opportunities to receive, right? For you. And so even if it's someone is like, Lou, oh my gosh, I love your outfit. You look so beautiful. Rather than you saying like, oh, thanks, you too. Just be like, thank you. I received that. Thank you. The practice. And it can be uncomfortable at first. Isn't it so funny how we all can't like it's like been a little difficult for us to receive our whole life when it's just like we're the only ones blocking the source every time we don't receive.
Well, where does that come from?
I mean, it's different for every person, but I can say that we all hold deep imprints of guilt and shame that we tie to stories, depending on your lineage, depending on your ancestry, depending on your upbringing in your house. Could be something picked up from your parents. If your parents have a hard time receiving, you know, we've been so programmed that being selfish is bad. That's when to me, being selfish is the most selfless, loving thing we could all do. Imagine if this whole entire planet was selfish. We would be taking care of ourselves. We would be honoring ourselves. We'd be setting boundaries, honoring the other person, which is withholding love in that relationship. We'd be taking care of ourselves more. So it's like, it's just these deep imprints. It's individual through your upbringing, maybe with your family. And it's just deep imprints within the collective and society. So we have awareness around it. We know that it's not us. We can allow it to leave our body and not identify with it. And practice doing the uncomfortable thing for a little bit, which could look like you just receiving without giving anything. Just receiving to receive.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else?
My only thing that I was going to share, like, I guess it's, just more of like a mindset thing that I had. Cause like I used to like make so much money when I was like bartending and serving. Like I did like, I don't know, like I did everything I wanted. I had so much fun over the last 5 years because of like, but it was always like, I was not happy doing that. Like it made me like super sad. And I was like, I felt like, cause like, I don't want to be like getting people like wasted in order for them to tip me more. And like, it's like sweet. Like I made a lot of money and like,
well, that's a story really quick that I just like want to reframe.
Oh, yeah.
That you are getting people wasted to tip you more.
Like not really, but like, I feel like that's the whole thing with like bartending in general. Like people tip you more when you like get them drunk kind of thing. Like
the general story. That's just a story.
Yeah.
Choose to be like, oh my gosh, like I don't want to get people drunk to make money, right? Or you could be like, I was of service and attentive to what people asked me for while I was doing my job. And they were probably tipping you too because you're probably a wonderful person to be around and they loved your energy.
That's actually true. Like people did, like they would always like message me when they were coming into the bar and they'd be like, hey, can you be my server tonight?
So
but
would you rather feed the story of, oh my gosh, people just really loved my energy and I make more money because of my energy? Or do you want to tie all these other stories to it?
That's true. I feel like, because I don't want to bartend, like I'm not bartending anymore. And like, I know I won't go back to that. But yeah, I guess I had that mindset like, oh, like I used to have so much money, but it was coming from this like negative industry. When I guess like realistically, people wanted to come to the bar to have fun and like, help them have a good time at the end of the day.
Whatever story you want to paint it. But
Fair.
I would say the most empowering thing could be like, wow, first of all, you hold a code to where you've proved to yourself in your subconscious that you make a lot of money by making people happy.
It's true.
By your personality. money flows easily, that you had so much you don't know what to do with it. So you hold that code, right?
Yeah.
You hold that frequency and that awareness within you where you showed yourself that it's possible. So rather than tainting it with all of these stories that aren't true, that you just said to yourself, oh, well, that's actually not true, right? You're taking on other people's stories and judgments. You're making all this up in your head, which is okay. But let's be aware of the stories we're making up and the stories we're going to feed into. So you can completely just rewrite all of that and just be like, I'm actually a magnet for money. Making money is actually really easy and really fun. And I make money by just being me.
True.
So focus on that.
Cool.
And let's not tie all these other stories in with that.
Cool. Thank you. That's helpful.
Christina, I have another thing. It's like, I talked about it with Juan a bit last time. I feel guilty for like charging people to heal them, or for coaching or emotional intelligence and all these things that I do. I feel so guilty because it's like I would heal for free because I'm an abundant source of energy and I want to pass that because, you know, everyone has that inside, and I feel so guilty for giving information to people that they already have everything inside of them, you know? So there's this guilt of like, I don't want to charge you so much for something that you have and something that you should have.
So happy you brought that up, because I was thinking about that the last time that you shared that with Juan, and I'm really happy you brought that up. So let's talk about this let's give this some presence, because all of you are light workers, all of you, you know, this is actually specifically what you're saying is specifically how I really, really serve light workers as you step into your light work and offer your services and become abundant by being you, right? So for me, I'm all about what is going to serve the person I'm being of service to the most, right? And for me, this is just what I believe, but I am doing someone a disservice by not charging them for a certain level of awareness, right? Because again, and I think Juan used this example too, it's like when you actually show up and you invest in yourself, you're giving them an opportunity to reprogram themselves around money and to actually call themselves forward in a bigger way, to really, really show up and receive it. So would you rather just give out your stuff and then people just take it like, oh, thanks. Yeah. No, yeah. I kind of like, I heard you, but like, no, I'm not like integrating it. Or would you actually rather have someone fully show up, be super, super ready to work with you and actually do your homework, actually show up? Like I can even say, for example, this program, we should have charged more. Maybe more people would be on these calls. Maybe more people would be showing up in the WhatsApp group more. This has nothing to do with money. This is all energy. Like, do you think like I really care about like whatever it is? No, what I care about is what's going to serve you most, what's going to call you forward and free yourself. And hey, maybe if we made this a higher price point, people would be like, oh my God, okay, I invested $1,200. I'm showing up. I'm going to watch every video. I'm going to be on that WhatsApp. I'm going to reach out for support. But no, we did a lower price point. Want to be of service, want to call this forward. And it was still resistance for some people, which is totally fine. It called you guys forward. You guys have been showing up every single call. It's just you guys. No judgment. I'll love the people who watch this on the replay. If they're watching it on the replay, if they take the time to watch this again and again, they'll hear this. Amazing that you're watching this on the replay. Huge. But this is all energy, and it's all being of service in that way of what's going to serve the person the most. What's going to stretch you out of your comfort zone? What's going to help you reprogram that limiting belief around money so you can free yourself from it? To me, I personally feel like I'm doing someone a disservice by not charging them, because it's going to call them forward in a bigger way. So to me, I feel like I'm not doing them service. I'm doing the opposite. They're not going to integrate it as much. They're not going to receive it as much. They're not going to show up as much. And I'm here to create containers of transformation. And with transformation, it takes you doing the scary thing over and over again. Half of the work is you saying yes, is the person saying yes. It's already begun the moment you say yes and you do that. Yeah. So that's just my stance on it. And it's just going to take you, because like it's like a deeper energetic of worthiness. It's a deeper energetic of that, you know? And we're really here just to be of service and to help each other and help activate each other and free each other. And for me, like, I would much rather work with people who are truly ready to change their life than people who are like half in, half out. Who are like, no, I just want to pay $100 for like a month, and I'm just like maybe pop in and like show up. No. I want someone who's going to invest in themselves, fully commit, show up, every single thing, do their homework. That's when you see transformation. So that's how I coach. That's the containers I work in. Because like, I want someone to truly change their life and get to their goals and do that. And with that, it's calling them forward in a bigger way. So they actually show up, they're ready energetically, they're going to do the work. It's so different than like, oh no, I'm just going to pay like $100. And like, it's like, okay, would you rather work with someone who charges $100 for like a month, or someone that's like charges way more? Cause that's what I'm going to be calling you forward to charge. Your people.
Yeah, but a lot of times, for example, like in workshops, and I know that I could put X amount of money, but I know that a lot of people can't pay that. So I'll lower my price so it's attainable for everyone, because I want to help as many people as I can.
Yeah,
Obviously.
I'm sorry, love, I missed the very first part of that. You were kind of breaking up.
Oh, sorry. I was saying that, like, I give workshops, and a lot of my workshops, I'm putting my price down because I want to help.
Sorry, I'm so sorry. You broke up one more time. You said you're doing work for what?
Workshops.
Workshops. Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. And if you need me to type it, I will.
No,
But yeah.
I just was mishearing you. So you do workshops?
Okay. I give, and I'm lowering my price.
Yeah.
So I can attain more people and I can help more people.
Totally.
But then the price is lower, and there's not so much worth in all of the work that is being done either.
Yeah.
Because I'm giving way more than the price that I'm asking for.
So then what are you going to do? You're going to get burnt out, and you're probably going to get over being of service.
Yeah.
So that's where it's like, we need to reach a sweet point in the as far as like what's going to call us forward to serve, so we don't resent the people we're serving, and what's going to call them forward to stretch themselves and step more into their power. You can't put a price on these things. This is transformation. This is priceless. This is priceless stuff, right? So it's all energy. It's all about what is the price that's going to call me forward, that gets me excited to show up and just like give you guys everything. And what's going to be the number that's going to call you forward to actually show up and receive it and do it. That's it. It's all energetic, and it's different for everything. It's different for every situation, every person, every container. And this is like, I specifically help a lot of my clients in finding their sweet spot and their offerings and all that kind of stuff, because it's different for every single person. Yeah. And like, please don't burn out, Lou. Like, we need you. You should be charging something that's going to call you forward, and the people that are meant to come are going to come, and they're going to show up and be fully ready. Because you can't put a price on the work that you're doing. You're priceless. What you're doing is priceless. But you have an opportunity to call someone forward so they show up at your event, and like, they're going to go for it at your workshop. You know what I mean? I don't know the exact workshops that you do, but like last night we did a Kali temple here where it was like all women, full on, and it's like, it was a paid event, and it's like, yeah, it better be a freaking paid event, because we're going all in, and we need everyone to go all in and bring their energy into this. Not like people who are like, oh, I'm just gonna like not fully bring their all. Like, or you can, and you're just maybe not gonna get the most that you could get out of it. But if you're going to pay the full amount, it's like, I'm showing up and I'm going for it. I'm putting all my limiting beliefs into the fire. I am dancing. I am doing it because I'm showing up for me, and I invested myself and I'm doing it, right?
Okay. Thank you for that. That was very important.
Yeah, and it's okay. Like,
Can I make a quick suggestion?
Yeah.
Lou, I've seen this in a couple emails from like spiritual workshop people
where they'll have, obviously you have to feel comfortable with this, but they have different price points. So like for the same offering. So they'll clearly state like, if you're abundant and feeling generous, like this is the full amount. But, you know, if you're still called to this, but you can't afford it, we want to offer it to you. So that way, you know, not to,
Like a sliding scale.
what am I trying to say? Yeah, like a sliding scale where it's like, it's fully honest, like, you know, I want to help you, but I understand you can't afford it, but you want to, you know, and you can only invest this little you know, this little bit. Awesome. Or like, I know you see the value in this and you can fully invest in this, you know, help me by continuing to do this by paying the full price, like that sort of thing. Obviously it depends on the wording and your comfort level, but like I love it when I see that is also an option.
Yeah, because it's consideration to the other. Like sometimes people really want to, really want to transform, but they really don't have the means for that. Like,
cool. And if that like resonates with you, like that's totally something you can offer. So you can like start like being in that, you know? Because you come from such a beautiful place. It's such like a heartfelt, beautiful, beautiful space that you're doing where you just like want to be of service. And we don't want you to burn out, girlfriend. We need you.
Yeah, all of us. So this is probably like the
yeah.
All right, thank you very much.
All right, you guys, I'm super excited to hear how your integration homework goes. I can't encourage you enough to do it, but then I can't make you do it. But you have an opportunity to do it. So let's go neutralize money. Let's go love on it. Let's go create this new relationship with it, and let's give it a place to go. And yes, I love you guys. I'm going to wrap up my little portion right here. And Juan is asking if he could have 2 minutes with you guys because he's present and he's probably just feeling something to share with you guys, which I'm sure is super magical. So I'm going to step aside and let him pop on. But I love you guys. I love you guys. I love you guys. You guys are
Thank you so much.
You guys, sending you so much love. And I will welcome Juan into the space.
Hello.
Hi.
So a couple things that I was like, oh my God, I want to share. So first thing I want to share, something that Christina mentioned about when you're calling abundance, don't sabotage yourself by thinking of only one way it could come up. So this happened before I met Christina. So when did we meet, Christina? March?
Yeah.
March. So me and Christina met in March. What? So then a couple of years ago, it was winter in the US, and during winter in the US is summer in Australia. And I was like, you know what? I would love to spend my winter in Australia summer. And I was like, I would love to be at the Great Barrier Reef, and oh, that would be amazing. So I put out on Facebook, because I love animals and I love nature, and I wanted to be by the Great Barrier Reef so I could swim with the turtles and blah, blah, blah. And I put out on Facebook this message to the universe, you know, and like sometimes people say, tell the universe. So I told the universe with my Facebook circle that I was looking for a house sitting to house sit someone's house in Australia. The Great Barrier Reef would be fantastic. And a pet sitting also I was open to. Can you believe someone said, hey, come stay at my house, take care of my dog and cat. I have a dog and a cat because I'm going to China for a month and a half, so you could be here a month and a half. And I got to spend Christmas and New Year's and the holidays at the Great Barrier Reef during their summer. And it was because of this concept that Christina mentioned, calling for this manifestation and being open to and flexible for all the possible ways that it could come up. And after that, I didn't even know this existed. There's actual websites that people can advertise house sittings and pet sittings. So if somebody was looking for stuff like that, there's actual websites that you can apply and have a profile there and do it. And I was lucky that I got it through my Facebook contacts, and sometimes through Facebook somebody could connect you to somebody, et cetera, et cetera. And that's the way that it happens. And I want to share one more thing based on some of the things that Lou mentioned that I'm sure resonate with a lot of us, and about not wanting to receive. So saying no to the gifts that are coming your way, etc. So what this makes me think about is science. So if I look behind me and I go into nature, there are certain aspects of nature that we classify as a host. What is a host? So a host can be an animal or a plant that is giving to another animal or plant, which is only taking. So this is the relationship between a host and the other one is called parasite. So the host only gives, and the parasite only takes. This relationship is called in science parasitic symbiosis. Parasitic symbiosis, if we think about our relationships in the past, maybe a past boyfriend or girlfriend or husband or wife that we've had, those really drain us and they're really hurtful and they're really toxic. Parasitic symbiosis is in a relationship that you're in that you are only the giver and the person only takes. So what I have coached my people in the past, because I have so many of those people, perhaps because I'm like that too. I'm a giver. I'm a selfless giver. So therefore we attract selfless givers. And that's why you're here and why so many of you resonate with this story, because you're all selfless givers. So what I coach my selfless givers about is, okay, if you practice this relationship of you are the host to the taker, you're going to keep attracting more of these parasites that only want to take and not give back. So what is the flipping of that? How do we shift this story? Well, in nature, there's also another relationship. It's called mutualistic symbiosis. These are two species, could be plants or animals, two creatures that both give to each other. They are both giving something to the other. They're both gaining and nobody's harmed. Nobody gets hurt. See, in the parasitic relationship, the parasite gains, but the host is hurting. The host, something is being taken away from them. Okay, so in the mutualistic symbiosis, both gain, both give. There's a cycle of reciprocity. So this came up because if we find ourselves that we only want to give and never receive, we will attract more parasites to us. And when we start practicing this cycle of reciprocity and start entering relationships that are both give and take, we will attract more of that. So if I want to attract people that are like me, selfless givers, I need to receive. Because if I don't receive, I will repel selfless givers. Why? Because I am a selfless giver and I know how much pleasure I get when I give. So somebody else that gets pleasure from giving, if I don't allow them to give to me, they're not going to get pleasure. So in order for me to find the highest vibration relationship for me, I want to find a selfless giver. How do I do that? By allowing someone to give to me as I also give to them. And then I'll even have a talk about this. Because here's what happens when two selfless givers meet. Oh, I want to give you a massage. No. I'm not taking a massage. I want to give you a massage. No. I'm going to give you a massage. So the argument is who's going to receive. So here's what I do. I have the conversation. Oh, I know that it pleases you to give. Me too. I am just like you. So the only way we can both be pleased is if we both receive, if we both give, this cycle of reciprocity. So this came up and I wanted to share it with you all. And also it also is a response to your concept of charging people. So imagine all I did was give free stuff out. I'm going to attract people that do not like to reciprocate. So here's the interesting thing. If you gave me something for free, the first thing I'm doing is figuring out how can I give you something in return? Even if you're saying, I don't want or need anything. because I am a giver and I believe in this reciprocity. So if you're selflessly given to me, I want to find a way to give back. And that could be 100 different ways. So when we are saying, no, no, don't give me anything, just receive this, we will not attract those reciprocity, mutualistic, symbiotic people. We will attract the parasites that I'm just going to take here, I'm going to take there, I'm going to take here, I'm going to take everywhere and not give anything. So those are my thoughts I wanted to share with you all. Love you all. Great to see you all.
Thank you so much for that. Thank
Thank
you.
you so much.
Pleasure. I give you back to Christina.
Love you guys. Welcome after. Watch this again and again and again and again.
Well, bye.
Goddesses and gods who are watching this. Goodbye.
Bye.